Welcome to Heirloom Dance, where we will be doing an online version of our studio until this whole coronavirus thing blows over. We've got a couple people we want to thank first. Michael and Kathy Knapp, Ashley Langdon, Ruth Buckland, Jeff, Susan McGrath, Elizabeth, and Amy Roche. And a special thanks goes out to a good friend of ours who donated these two lights, which you can't see, but there's two good lights on here that kind of light this apartment up. He doesn't want to have his name shared on the internet, which we totally respect, but thank you. You know who you are. Let's go ahead and get into this. Today we're going to talk about spins and turns. Particularly, we're going to be covering a Shinae Turn, and then we're going to be doing a spin just on one foot. So let's start with something that is very common amongst Lindy hoppers in general, is the Shinae Turn. Now what makes a Shinae Turn is basically that I take a step, I turn roughly 180 degrees, and I continue to go down in this chain-like format, alternating feet each time. So an exercise I really want to go over with that is how we want to initiate with our bodies, our upper bodies leading that move, as opposed to initiating these turns with our feet, so we're reaching into them and hooking behind yourself. Now there's definitely uses for doing stuff like where you're going to hook behind and turn, but just for this basic Shinae Turn, which is good for both leaders and followers, we start here and we lead the turn by the rotation with our upper body, and then we rotate through it, letting what leads that motion be up top as opposed to what's below. The exercise that I like to do is I'll kind of swing my arms, twist with the upper body, and then when I'm ready, I'll just send my upper body through it and let my legs sort of follow. I want to be a little tighter in true practicality, but to discover this sensation, think about being very relaxed so I don't have to push real hard to go through my turns. I just relax and I breathe, and I go through it, prep a couple times again, relax and breathe, and just sort of fall through it. When I start to tighten that up, I don't want to build up a bunch of stress that causes my muscles to tense up and then I'm working harder than I need to. Just keep them in a nice balanced place. Prep like once, go through. Prep once, go through. Prep once, go through. And what you'll notice with these turns is if I stay relaxed, calm, nice soft knees, low center, it's easy for me to do multiple of these turns without pushing too hard. Something you can definitely practice at home, something that we're definitely practicing at home now. Maybe try going a little smaller to make them a little tighter as you go through. Experiment with distance. When you get comfortable with that, move on to kind of getting that Lindy stance, that lower center. Also, one thing I'm doing is I'm spinning on the balls of my feet, not the whole of my foot, which is something that like some of us do a lot of. I bend up into the knees and then I release my heels, which makes turning a lot easier. Especially with my shoes, because I've got big sticky heels on them, but I've got leather soles on the ball of the foot. So when I go down into kind of this more athletic stance, it makes it of course kind of bigger, kind of wider. I can still be low, turn it small if I want to, but that typical Lindy hop stance is something we really want to pay attention to. And then I add that pulse where I kind of chunk through this, where I go chunk, 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 chunk. And then I can start working on those triple steps, particularly the swung timing that Lindy hop has, where instead of going quick, quick, slow, I'm going to try going triple step, triple step, triple step, and then I can maybe do two of them in a row if I've got enough room here. Let's see. Triple step, triple step. So yeah, that's pretty much Shinae Turns. Practice that. That'll be really good for when you get back on the social floor. Turns in place. So I like to practice these on either feet. What I'll do, same exercise. I'm going to initiate it up here, but I'm just going to stay on that right foot and just see kind of how far I get around. I'll usually start with maybe quarters, then move on to halves, and then if you kind of incrementalize up without trying to like power really fast, I can get maybe 3/4, and then hopefully at some point all the way around. Same idea, I'm keeping towards the ball of the foot as opposed to the hole of the foot. Especially me, I'll get stuck if I try to do that. And then try it on the other foot. Start with just going half, and then maybe, start with a quarter, then move on to half, so I'll do a quarter again. Start with a quarter, move on to half, then maybe move on to all the way around. One of the big things that I also think about is by bringing my feet together, just that motion of getting small and bringing my weight to one point, that gives me a lot of energy as I push around. Good practical applications for that with Lindy Hop is when we do Charleston turns, like when we're kicking on one leg. I can start by kicking up here. The more I send my body into the turn, the more I'm going to turn around as I do it. If I kind of stay big, I can make it sluggish. If I take it a little tighter, I can take it real small. Same idea on the other foot. It's always the upper body that's initiating those turns. Even just tuck turns where you got to turn a bunch on one foot, there's tons of practical applications for these types of turns. And I think that, and even for both, I think leaders, you need to turn a little bit more. So I think these exercises are good for you. But even just if you tend to lead a lot of turns for follows, having that empathy of what it's like to turn and the difficulty there, that can really help you on your leading as well. Follows, of course, we're turning a lot. Always practice your turns. But this is one of those things, and a lot of people were asking about, what are things I can do by myself if I don't have a partner? This is another great example. We also did a follows swing out exercise, which I'll put in the comments below. But other than that, thank you so much for tuning in. And then we'll see you next time. We'll get some more videos up. Thank you so much.